Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller. As chair of the board, I welcome you to this in-person January 4th, 2022 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our communications manager, Emily Kaiser, will describe how our virtual meetings operate, how to access the agenda, and how people may participate if you're calling in or dialing in, tuning in remotely. Emily?
Thanks, Commissioner. So there are multiple ways to make public comment today, whether you're joining us in person or whether you're joining us virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet over here right now. If you're joining us virtually, we ask that you virtually raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda, and I'll provide instructions as to how to do that. If you're joining us virtually again, the chat feature on this Zoom meeting is available, but only as technical support for users on their computer or smartphone. If you're experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and I will help you troubleshoot. If you're a staff member experiencing issues, please contact the IT help desk. Chris and Josh are here today as well to help us if you need something. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded. A link to the video recording will be posted to wcroad.org in the next day or two. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table over here, and it's also posted to wcroad.org. There's a link available in the chat if you're joining us from your computer or smartphone. Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you, Emily. I will now call this meeting to order and ask Aaron to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Here.
Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Here.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas is on her way.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, thanks. Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Present.
Managing Director Cheryl Siddle. Aaron Burkholz, Senior Project Manager of Design and Construction.
Here.
Director of Operations Jim Harmon.
Present.
Director of Finance and IT Dan Ackerman.
Here.
Thank you. At this point in the agenda, I would ask those here and elsewhere to rise, please, and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. So, second. Thank you, Commissioner McCullum moved and Commissioner Yamas seconded. Any changes, additions, deletions to the agenda? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Time out. Do we need to do roll call?
Yes, roll call vote for everything.
All right, we'll still do roll call. So roll call on approval of the agenda. Aaron.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of the minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes today. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of December 21st, 2021, appearing on pages 3 through 9 of the packet?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. Madam Chair, I move acceptance of the board meeting minutes of December 21st, 2021 as presented. Thank you.
Support. Thank you. Any discussion? Any additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
May I have a motion to accept the closed session minutes of December 21st, 2021? Those were sent separately to the members of the board.
You may have such a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any additions, corrections to the closed session minutes? Seeing none. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Aye.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. And in the third set, may I please have a motion to accept the working session minutes of December 21st, 2021 as presented, appearing on pages 10 and 11 of the board packet. So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any changes, corrections, additions, deletions? Hearing none. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item on our agenda is public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board, and Emily will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Thanks, Commissioner. So since this is our first hybrid meeting, we're gonna have both in-person and virtual attendees. So thank you for joining us. We're gonna take turns between those attending in person and those attending virtually. So if you are a virtual attendee, we ask that you virtually raise your hand now if you'd like to make public comment. You can do that by, if you're viewing the meeting on a computer, you wanna first click join audio. And then you want to raise your hand by clicking the participant or reaction button at the bottom of your screen, and then the raise hand button. If you dial into the meeting from your touch tone phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. I will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time. I will announce your username or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. If you are an in-person attendee, we will start with those who have signed up on our sheet first as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, that's okay. You're still welcome to make comment. I'll just notify you when it's your turn to do so. All right, so let's get started. We have our first in-person. So Brenda Stumbo, if you want to step up to the podium.
Supervisor Stumbo, welcome.
Thank you. Happy New Year,
Thank
everyone.
you.
It's good to see you and thank you for your service. I'm here today on 2 issues. One is Duncan Street flooding has been an issue for at least 1 decade, maybe more. And I know we're trying to address the stormwater issue there. And it's whatever we've done, it's just not working. And the residents are now contacting us. And I just want to say that maybe we should look at doing some stormwater prevention or asset management like you do for the road. And I know we had flooding in West Willow in 2019. And once they cleaned out the stormwater system, it helped with the flooding. So if we could possibly, sometimes we don't think about that, and now because of flooding being such an issue, we really think about that a lot now. So I'm just asking you to please consider that. But Duncan Street, and I know it's not dialogue, and then I just want to put that on the record to see if we could find a solution for that. And then secondly, I just want to ask if you had seen the U of M study that was done about the opportunity index. Can you hear me, Dan? Have you seen the opportunity index? U of M did a study for Washtenaw County, and it had the opportunity index, and it was health and wealth and education, economics. There was a lot of different layers in the equity. It wasn't equity, it was called opportunity index. And I just ask you to look at that and see if there's ways that we can lift up the lowest opportunity in that study to make sure that they have good roads, no flooding, whatever we can do to help make quality of life better and lift people up. I think one way is with a job economically. So if we can do more outreach, any way we can help to let them know about the great jobs at the Road Commission. And Cheryl, the director, has told me about some of them before, but if we can really try to recruit, and if there's any way Ipsy Township can help do that, then we were more than happy, because we do believe that economic disadvantage puts us all at a disadvantage. We're the 8th most economically segregated county in the United States of America. And that study shows it. So I want to change it, and I know everyone here wants to do. So we're just asking for all of us to work together to lift people up and start out the new year in a good way. And thank you for your service. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for coming over today. Emily, has anyone raised their hand virtually?
Yes, so we have a virtual participant. This is Heather Rowe. So Heather, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Great. Can everyone hear me?
You can, go ahead. Yes.
Great. Thank you all so much. I just wanted to take a moment and thank Cheryl Siddle and her team. In the last couple of months of 2021, we've been doing monthly meetings with you all, and I think it's been really helpful and productive. You know, just to keep lines of communication open between our two entities that do work so well together and serve, you know, the same group of residents. And then I also just wanted to, moving forward and looking forward at 2022, want to strongly encourage and ask that the Road Commission would continue to advocate, as you always do, for our county, and especially as it relates to federal and state dollars, infrastructure dollars, and to just really try our very hardest to bring as much of that money back home to our taxpayers as we're able to do. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to a fruitful 2022 with you all.
Thank you. Emily?
We do have one other attendee. Hold on here. Connie, you should be able to unmute yourself now if you wanted to make comment.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
You can, go ahead.
Okay, so one question I have is, has this project been accepted? Because we at West Willow, or the traffic committee, we have quite a few concerns about safety.
I'm sorry, could I have your name again, please, ma'am?
Yes, it's Connie Latimer. I'm from West Willow. I'm with the traffic committee, and we're wondering if this project has been accepted, because we have quite a few safety concerns that still need to be addressed.
Thank you. Anything further? You have the better part of 3 minutes yet.
Sorry, Connie, I muted you. You can unmute yourself again, Connie, and do something else.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we're very concerned about the bioswale. It has not worked properly. And we're concerned about traffic that has been actually cutting through when they go through the turnaround and taking the exit, the course exit. And then the other thing is people are actually walking across the freeway. We feel that's very, very unsafe as well, in the area around Onondaga and US 12. So we really would like to have those things addressed before the project has been accepted. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Miss Emily?
That is all the raised hands that we have.
Thank you. Next item is actually Commissioner written communications. Written communications appear on page 12 through 16 of our packet. Was there anything there that any of the commissioners wanted to draw attention to?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Green.
I'd just like to comment that the correspondence from Daniel Hoover that was complimenting the Road Commission on their work is very much appreciated.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Next item is commissioner and staff follow-up to public comment. Do any of the commissioners wish to respond to Supervisor Stumbo, Clerk Rowe, or Ms. Latimer from the West Willow Safety Committee or Road Committee, was it?
Traffic Committee.
Traffic Committee.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Yamas.
So kind of to all three.
Could you speak up, please?
Sure. To Ms. Stumbo, I want to thank you for that information that you provided and the study to look at. But we have always worked with. Cheryl has tried to educate people on how we can work together to get projects done, and that flooding, there may be a good opportunity. And I think that I have to defer to Cheryl about where funds may come from to do that, because it's a complicated system to get all those fixed. But thank you for that. And to Heather Rowe, we indeed do advocate and try to get our partners in the city and in townships to look at the grant opportunities. And to Ms. Whitaker, you had an opportunity to talk, and maybe you can send more information. I was unsure of what project you were talking about, but indeed we have been working on that and have done a lot of work around the E-course exit and that whole corridor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Green?
Yes, I would just like to concur with Commissioner Yamas. I am very concerned about pedestrian traffic, as you said, was crossing the road.
Onondaga at the expressway.
And Michigan Avenue, Onondaga. Is that correct? So, I mean, that's certainly something that I thought, that I hope our staff will look at closely. That can be a very dangerous thing.
All right. Any other comments? Commissioner McCollum?
Yes, I want to first of all thank Supervisor Stumble and Clerk Rowe for all the hard work that you do for the township and your work with the road commission to make sure our roads are done well. And it does take collaboration and input. I also want to thank Connie Lattimore, who is the traffic committee chairperson of the West Willow community. And Connie has worked hard with the OHM engineering company and the road commission to make sure the project that Representative Pearson was able to get $8 million for the project to help with safety in the area. It has always been a concern of safety around US 12 and M17 E-course road. So I want to thank Connie. She is all volunteer. She doesn't work for anyone. She does it all volunteer. And we will continue to work with Ms. Lattimore to help make sure that that area is safe and listen to their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Managing Director Siddle? She's walking to the microphone.
I'm trying to make sure everyone can hear me. I just wanted to share with the board and with the public that staff is working with OHM on a response with respect to the issues that have been raised for the US 12 project. There was a series of issues that were brought to light through some emails. So there will be a formal response coming from OHM. Again, please, just as a reminder, that project is still under construction. A lot of work has taken place, but there is still work to be done. So, but that will all be incorporated into the response that is forthcoming.
Excellent. Thank you for that update. Any further comments? All right. We will move on to new business, the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, items 1 and 2?
So moved.
Thank you. Any discussion? Erin, if you would please call the roll.
Oops, sorry. Commissioner Joy McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Next on our agenda are reports. We will start with our county commissioner liaisons. Caroline Sanders from District 4. Is she with us?
Commissioner Sink is not, but Commissioner Sink is with us.
Excellent.
She is unmuted and she's prepared to make comment.
Commissioner Schenk, Chair of the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners, representing District 2. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Chair Fuller and Washtenaw County Road Commission. Happy New Year to you. I just wanted to make two comments today. One is that we voted at our final meeting of the year to change our meeting schedule. It will still be on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. However, working session will start at 5:30, and then our full board meeting will start at 7 p.m. We made these changes because we believe that they will streamline the process and make it easier for the public to follow along. So that's a change. And then I wanted to just say, because things have changed a lot in the COVID scene since before the holidays. And as of Monday, in the 24 hours preceding Monday, 526 cases were confirmed, 8 people were hospitalized, and 1 person died of COVID. And so I say that because I'm not sure everybody knows, and I want people to realize that the rates have skyrocketed and that it's very important. I know you are taking precautions. It's very important to continue to do so. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Schenk. Next on our agenda are reports from the road commissioners, starting with Commissioner Yamas.
No report.
No report. Commissioner Doug Fuller.
No report.
Thank you. Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, I'd like to report that on December 21st, I attended a in-person rehearsal for the road commission, and I really appreciated that we rehearsed it and practiced safe distance, because as Commissioner Schenk said, that it is a concern. So I appreciated the time and effort that the road commission staff put in to help us feel safe. And I do feel safe with the rehearsal. So that happened on December 21st. We were in person for that rehearsal. That's all.
All right. Commissioner Green.
No report.
No report. I'd like to report that on December 22nd, we had a chat session and we had 2 guests attending, had some nice conversations. And I would then also like to congratulate Kelly Jones, professional engineer, on her appointment as chairperson of the statewide local bridge advisory board. Kelly is a former bridge engineer with our organization and is currently the director of engineering and the county highway engineer for the Ingham County Road Department. And that concludes my report. We will move on to the managing director and her staff.
Getting my exercise today. Obviously, with the holidays, I don't have a lot to report right now. I will be turning it over to the directors in just a moment. But I will share that as we had a lot of discussion with respect to the vaccine mandate and potential policy that would be passed by this board, and then all of that's currently somewhat on pause as there's a hearing before the United States Supreme Court on this very topic this coming Friday. But in preparation for all of that, McChrysip actually has a meeting this afternoon with all the road commissions that have 100 or more employees that would be subject to this mandate. So Nicole and I will be attending that this afternoon to hear from our counterparts what they are doing, what guidance exists, the type of questions that we're obviously all hoping to get answers to in the near future so that we can come back to this board with appropriate recommendations on where to go from here. So I just wanted to give you a brief update on that. Matt McDonnell can't be with us today, but I assure you that the engineering department is back and that they are actively working towards a very busy 2022 construction season, getting all the plans and whatnot in place in order to make that happen. So with that, I know that Director of Operations Jim Harmon is with us and that they actually have been very busy over the holidays. So I will let Jim speak to that. So I'm sorry.
I do have one question. The Clerk Rowe asked that we continue to be vigilant about pursuing federal and state funding, particularly this anticipated infrastructure money.
Absolutely.
And I believe, help me remember, on our website, isn't there a link that identifies projects that we have secured in the past with federal funding? It seems like keyword was grants.
We have a grants page that indicate the grants that we have received that where future projects will be coming. In addition, we still are awaiting guidance on exactly how the infrastructure bill, any monies that will be coming forward from that will be distributed. So certainly, we like to think that we are well prepared to carry out whatever projects, whether they be grant type projects where we have to apply for them, or whether it's a matter of advocating that our communities, you know, that we are able to put that money towards the infrastructure in the communities that we serve together. Regardless, we will be very much paying close attention and taking advantage of any opportunities that we have to solicit additional funds.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, that the American Rescue Plan Act dollars were not, road projects were not eligible for those funds.
That is correct.
So we're hopeful the infrastructure dollars will be.
Absolutely. I think that we can all agree that there's plenty of needs that are out there, and certainly whatever roads are eligible, we're happy to put those funds towards those roads once we have a little further guidance on how those monies will be distributed. Any other questions for me before I hand it over to Jim?
I just have one question.
Commissioner Yamas?
Thank you. I thought through the American Rescue Plan, we don't have access to that money, but we've been working with the county commissioners, right, to do culverts. Is it from that money?
Correct. We have been working with Evan Pratt's office that there is an opportunity to do some work under the umbrella of stormwater management. And as Supervisor Stumbo actually referenced, there's plenty of needs in that regard as well. And that does appear to be one area where there may be eligibility that can tie back to transportation. And I believe the county has distributed a portion, but not all, of the American Rescue Plan funds that they will be receiving. And certainly if townships have those funds that they would like to put forward in that same, under that same umbrella, we would be happy to assist with that. We, the Washtenaw County Road Commission, is not a recipient of those dollars.
Okay.
And maybe Commissioner Schenk, can you tell us the first phase of the ARPA distributions has been approved? I believe it was September 15th. Has there been another portion of that approved?
You are correct, Chair Fuller. The first portion was approved in September. We have been presented with a, we're calling it ARPA 2.0 or Washtenaw Rescue Plan 2.0. That will mostly be focused on public health and then on supporting more grassroots organizations working on the eastern side of the county where people have been most affected by COVID. But there still remains another approximately $35 million that's not spoken for yet. And so specifically, we have discussed culverts. There are some culverts that are sprinkled around the county. I understand from working with Water Resources Commissioner Pratt that don't really fit into any kind of convenient funding. And so those are on our list of projects to consider, but not, sometime within next year. So they're not being considered specifically at this moment, but we're aware of them. And if there are other things like that, we can consider them. We do have to be careful about, it's not an unlimited amount of money. So I'm not making promises, but if there are needs, we would like to hear about them and work with you.
Thank you, Commissioner Schenk.
Thank you.
Anything else of Cheryl? No? Okay, ball to you.
All right, well, I'm going to quickly hand it over to Jim Harmon.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Pleased to draw your attention to the operations staff report for the period of December 13th through December 26th. That can be found on pages 31 through 37 of your packet. Involves, as I had reported at our last meeting, a combination of non-winter and winter maintenance. Since the conclusion of that time period, the Road Commission Operations Department has performed 6 additional days of winter maintenance operations, specifically on December 27th, the 28th, the 29th, on New Year's Day, and the day after, Sunday the 2nd, and then cleaning up from that weekend event on Monday the 3rd, yesterday. To date, we have used approximately 6,258 tons of rock salt in our winter maintenance operations. As far as liquid brine, approaching 17,000 gallons of brine, and a little bit of abrasive so far this season, principally on our gravel roads for hills, curves, sharp turns, and approaches. Little over 360 tons of sand, a combination of abrasive material to provide traction control on the gravel road system. We continue to prepare for the 2022 construction season. We are preparing proposals to share with our township partners. That most likely will occur in the latter part of February and early March, once we have updated numbers following our annual audit. That's usually concluded in the middle of February. At that time, we'll have updated fringe and overhead rates, labor rates, equipment rates, material rates. All of those time and material costs will be updated at that time. We'll be able to finalize our proposals. Furthermore, we're preparing for our robust county millage program for paving and also for our seal coat preventive maintenance operations. And then finally, I wish to report to the board that the Road Commission and its contractor Cadillac Asphalt received an award of excellence later last year for the improvements that this agency performed on Judd Road in York Township between Celine Milan Road and Moon Road. It's an award of excellence granted and presented to us from both the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Asphalt Pavement Association of Michigan. It was recognizing the high quality of that road work that this agency and its contractor completed on that primary road. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions from the members of the board.
I feel like much I'm gonna miss somebody. Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, I just want to say that it's, that the Cadillac construction business, they seem to have a very good reputation. And I'm glad that they received the award of excellence and that we choose to use them. So thank you for that information, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes.
So I want to say thank you for the work on New Year's Day. And on the 2nd, I was out visiting and felt confident to leave because I thought, okay, the expressway will have at least one lane. I know this for sure. As guests were to our, you know, where I went to go visit, we're like, spend the night, spend the night. I'm like, no, I know I can get home. I know they're out there. So I want to thank you for that. I had confidence in the road commission and was able to get home safely.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Green.
I'd just like to add that I saw the trucks out there as well on New Year's Day. They're very visible, doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Cheryl.
Thank you, Jim. Equally busy this year, although in a very different way, is our Director of Finance and IT. This is our, in addition to being calendar year end, this is also our fiscal year end. So I know Dan and his staff have been wrapping things up, both from a physical standpoint and then also starting to prepare for the audit. And then in addition, Chris Quinter and his staff have been working on several IT projects, not the least of which is the boardroom here. So, so I would be happy to turn it over to Dan for him to report.
Thank you, Cheryl, and Happy New Year to everybody. Nice to see all of you. Hopefully someday we'll all get to be in person together, but for now we'll take what we can get, I guess. I'd like to start with the last page of your board packet, the ever-changing Michigan Transportation Funds. And for November, it was up 14%. So again, never can tell from month to month what it's going to bring. And for the year to date, it's up about 10% from the previous year. And you can see as far as our budget projection, we're projecting to receive more than we budgeted, which is always a position you want to be in. If you recall, October was down October of 21 was down about 6% from 2020. Because there was, I want to say it was Mobil or Exxon, there was millions of dollars that were not reported. And I want to say that that's going to be included with our December Michigan Transportation Fund. So I think we're in really good position as far as the budget for the MTF, which is great. As Cheryl mentioned, this is our busy season. Yesterday, we hit the ground running. We did our physical inventory counts in the stock room. Appreciate Jim's staff, in particular, Jeff Mann and Warren out there. They had everything in order for us, and we're actively counting nuts and bolts and belts and everything else. And we hope to finalize that within the next few days and reconcile that. But that's something we do each year. The very first day we come back in the new year. So it's always a challenge, you know, with everything else to keep up with, but it's something we need to do. And of course, you know, our auditors want to see that as well. And again, appreciate everything that was in order back there. Jeff Mann does a great job. He's very diligent about things. I provide a variance report to him, and it's the opportunity to look at anything that that we count that's off from the books. And inevitably, he will do several recounts, and it's not even a dollar issue. You know, usually I'm not concerned. You know, I'm focused more on things that might be off with by a high dollar amount. And but he'll look at everything, and inevitably he'll have several recounts for me. But he's just very diligent about it and wants to get it right and as accurate as possible. And certainly in finance, we appreciate that. We also we processed our first payroll and accounts payable for the year. That's always a heavy lift with rolling our system over. Payroll, we have new deductions for health insurance and optical and dental. So it's always a heavy lift, and it's always a moment of success when we get through that. And both Tracy and Jamie in the finance department did a great job just getting everything ready and being timely. And you know, Jamie was processing as many invoices as we could for 2021. We need all that in there because our auditors will be here on January 31st. So we want to process as much as we can, and they just did a great job. They were prepared, and you know, I'm happy to report we made it through that first pay of the year, which is probably the most difficult for the year. And as far as IT, I don't know if Josh has left. He was there. Hopefully he's still in the room, but just want to acknowledge Josh and Chris. You know, what we're doing now is we're trying to make do with what we have as far as offering hybrid meetings. From my perspective here, zooming in, it looks great. I can hear all of you well. And I know Chris and Josh and Emily all work closely together. And, you know, for something that, you know, we're just trying to make happen in the interim, I think this looks great and very professional, and just appreciate all their hard work on that, including practice sessions and so on. And as I mentioned, we're waiting on some equipment so we can get our boardroom up and running the way we want it to. So as soon as that equipment comes in, I know Chris is at the ready, and Josh too, for both the boardroom and assembly room. Chris has been keeping close tabs on our vendor and keeping the lines of communication open, trying to address any other issues outside of equipment. So we're ready to go, and we're looking forward to that, and we're excited about it. Hopefully in the next few weeks that'll get rolling. Also, as far as the Teams phone system, we're bringing some more testers on board. I know I'm scheduled for next week, and a few others as well. For the couple of employees that have already gone on the Teams phones, that transition has been pretty smooth, and we hope that will continue, and certainly we'll keep you posted. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. I would just like to echo what Dan said. This meeting may not be perfect in its hybrid format, but I'm actually very proud that we were able to pull this off in the manner in which we have. And a special thanks goes out to Emily and to Aaron and to Chris and to Josh who made this happen. And of course, to all of you for bearing with us as we're going through our practice sessions and all of that. But this is an interim basis, but hopefully it's a good place to be, at least in the meantime, where we can obviously meet the requirements of the Open Meeting Act by being here in person and still be able to have the virtual component, which we really came to value through the pandemic. So bear with us as we go through this interim period, and we're really hopeful of what the ultimate product is going to look like, because we think it's going to work real well. But thank you to especially to the four of them for getting us to where we are today. So that's it for staff, unless you have any other questions for me. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The next item on our agenda, at this time, I would move to enter into a closed session under Section 8, Sub D of the Open Meetings Act to consider the acquisition of right-of-way for parcels 7, 10, 11, and 12 of the Pontiac Trail at North Territorial Road project in Salem Township. Emily, if you explain how this works, please.
Sure. So once you guys do your vote, then we will do, we'll ask virtual participants that if you're not a road commissioner or a designated staff member, I'll move you to the virtual waiting room. And then if you'd like to be returned once we resume open session, I will just hang out in the waiting room and we'll let you back in. For in-person attendees, we'll ask that you exit the boardroom and you can wait in the lobby, and then we'll reopen the doors of the lobby once we resume open session. So we can do that once you do your vote.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Support. Commissioner Yamas, support. Aaron, I need a roll call on this.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Aye.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
We are now in closed session.
We are back in open session. Thank you.
Back?
Yep, go ahead, Commissioner.
Having returned to open session from our closed session, I would just note that our next board meeting held in this hybrid format, once again, will be on January 18th. Working session starts at 9 a.m. The regular board meeting starts at 1 p.m. Tomorrow we have our chat session, which is our normal Wednesday, 12 to 1 o'clock public interaction session with folks who have questions. I'm on call for tomorrow's session. And on January 12th, Commissioner Doug Fuller will be hosting the chat session. With no further business to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Commissioner Green and Commissioner McCollum. Aaron, please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us on this maiden voyage of a hybrid Washtenaw County Road Commission meeting. I thought it went pretty well.